And you want to kind of cat around, there's a little place down on 4th Street that's the hottest spot in town. You want to hear a whole lot of music, and you want to see a one-man band, just come see me and you'll be eye to eye with the Bogaloosa Boogeyman. Bogaloosa Boogeyman, gather round and clap your hands. The Bogaloosa Boogeyman, make you happy any way I can, guaranteed to make you feel good. Bogaloosa Boogeyman.
January 5th, 1965, you arrived in
Pensacola.
From, where were you?
North Carolina. On vacation.
Oh, the ship was out of North Carolina, was it?
Oh, you mean that?
Oh, that.
San Diego.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, San Diego. Phil Fields Band.
Uh-huh. So that must have been quite a change, huh?
Just Pensacola?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say.
Pensacola was quite a change, yes, it was. Pensacola, was it lax at all?
Lax? Mm-hmm. Oh, extremely.
Yeah, I think it's a correct.
That'd be the word for it.
It is.
Yeah, it was.
Pensacola was.
Relaxed.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, it was.
It was wonderful, and the last 3 years of my 5 years was in Pensacola.
Oh, okay.
So January 5th of 65 to February 8th of 68.
All right. And who had the band when you got there?
Frank Eamon.
Yep. Pretty good fellow, huh?
Oh, he's great.
Yeah.
Great. One of the true gentlemen in the service that I ran across.
Yeah.
One of the true ones.
Now here's one of the other true gentlemen.
There he is, right there.
There he is, right there. Tex by.
So I extended for a year, so I could stay in Pensacola stay in that band for another year. I was having such a good time.
Yeah.
And enjoyed it so much, and almost stayed in forever.
Yeah.
At the last minute, got out. At the suggestion of Frank Eamon.
Is that right? Really? He encouraged you to get out?
He encouraged me to get out and go do what I needed to do. And I didn't know what the hell that was. So
he seemed to know, though, huh?
Oh, yeah, he had an idea. So I did get out and went and did whatever I had to do, but it took me about 2 more years to figure out what that was.
Is that right? What'd you do in the meantime?
Well, I taught a little junior high band, which was a wonderful experience. And I'm lying. And I'm lying. I discovered I wasn't temperamentally suited for the teaching profession.
My, really?
Well, I was 20.
I stayed away from it.
Yeah. Well, I was 27 and I was too young to really take it seriously.
Yeah.
And I foolishly thought that those junior high school kids should be as passionate about music as I was. And, wrong.
Not so much, huh?
Not so much. The passionate ones were the ones in the 7th grade string class.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, they were the serious.
That wouldn't surprise Diane at all,
Yeah.
since she teaches junior high strings. Yeah, she's got some great kids.
So I lasted 2.5 months. I may have lasted a little longer, but had an opportunity to move to Nashville, and there I went.
So when you were in Pensacola,
Yes.
did you know any saxophone players there?
No.
No.
Wait a minute. I knew one.
Who was that?
McGuane.
Dick McGuane. No, don't say it.
Danny Cavallo.
Danny Cavallo, was he there?
Did you remember Danny Cavallo?
I know the name, I never met him.
Did you?
Do you know him?
Tex?
Don't know the name? That's a familiar name to me.
Well, he was there when I got
Yeah,
there.
but anybody else there? Any saxophone players that you knew?
No.
Come on.
Not that he'd like to remember.
Turn that camera around.
Was that?
No, not
Like
that
that?
way. Toward you.
Was Birdie there?
Birdie.
There he is. I did know one more.
That's right. Yeah.
The man behind the camera.
Yeah. We did have some fun there, didn't we?
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. Yeah, and one of your fondest memories is the air conditioner in my house.
That's true.
Mine and Carol's house.
That's true. That's true. And frozen daiquiris.
He said it was the coldest house he's ever been in his life.
You could hang meat in there. I mean, it was divine.
wonderful.
It'd be that hot Florida, humid, horrible weather that I hate so much. Go to Ron's house, and you better bring a jacket. You better bring your thirst, because we'd listen to we listened to Sergio Mendes,
Ramsey Lewis,
Lewis,
Ray Charles.
Burt Bacharach, Four Tops, good stuff. You know. Yeah, good stuff.
And make frozen daiquiris, as you said a while ago.
Yes, indeed.
A lot.
Lots of frozen.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah. By the way,
That makes listening a lot more pleasurable.
for the audience here, I wonder if would you introduce yourself, sir? Who might you be?
I might be Tex Waldron.
You might be, and you are.
I remember Ron from the basic course.
Do you really?
Yeah. I'm sure he doesn't remember me. He was one of the few players in the basic course, I guess. He was a great piano player back then. And what I remember most about Ron is he didn't like big bands.
He still
He
doesn't.
didn't like all that pow stuff. He was more into, little piano trios. And that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah. I still don't like him.
Were you in the on staff or the basic or the advanced course, or when Ron was there? What were you?
No, I was in basic student.
You were?
We are of the same era.
No, I didn't know you guys are that old. Oh,
Yeah.
no, wait a
We
minute.
confounded you.
What year was that?
I was about 63 or something.
Oh,
like that.
Exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Exactly
Yeah.
63.
Who was at the school when you were there? Who was the CO?
Macmillan.
Macmillan was.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ford was the XO. Huddleston was, I think, training officer.
Right.
And
King,
who was this?
Mr. King was, I better not do that, had I?
No.
I have to cut that out.
Was a training officer.
So who was this? Standing down there at the guard shack all the time, all crisp and
Who, Mr. Clean? Now, who would that be?
Flater.
Oh, well, he was a master in arms. Oh, yeah.
No,
How about
Ned.
How about Ned?
Ned Muffley?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
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 Ned Muffley was the conducting instructor.
Oh, is that what he
For the
was?
advanced course at the time.
I remember him
that.
standing down with a pistol belt on.
What was it? Ned Muffley told Cleo Owens one time that he says, in this part of the music here, this should be as gratifying as making love to a beautiful woman. And Owens, without batting an eye, says, either you don't know how to or I don't know how to conduct.
Oh my God!
Oh, Ned.
Let's see. My bass drum teacher.
Oh, okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Kenny Malone, right?
Kenny Malone, yeah. Yeah, there's a story connected with that. We may have told it before, though.
Well, let's tell it again, because
Well, when I got to basic, the basic course, piano player, so we had to minor in a percussion instrument. So there's bass drum. So I go to my first lesson. There's Kenny Malone. I don't know who Kenny Malone is, and he doesn't know who I am. And there's a bass drum with a cymbal on the top of it.
yeah.
So this first lesson, I don't remember which way it was. It was either quarter note triplets on the bass drum and eighth note triplets on the cymbal, or the other way around.
That could
I don't
be.
remember which one it was.
That's not so easy.
But I thought, I can do that. I'll do that. So, guess who didn't practice at all before the next week? Me. Well, I got there and I was going clack, whap, and I couldn't do it. And Malone went and yanked me. He said, "God damn it!" He said, "You're going to the office." He said, "You're wasting my time and your time and the Navy's time." And he took me to the office and marched me into his training officer. Was that it? Frank Eamon, the training officer.
Yeah, he was the training officer. Yes,
He's
he was.
sitting there with that grin on his face. And so Malone told him what I had not done. And Frank said, "Well, Oates," he said, "what are you going to do about that?" And I said, "I'll know how to do that next week." And did.
Yeah.
Did. Well, the interesting thing was, a year later, or a little over a year later, when I got transferred to the Pensacola Band, the morning I went in to check in, I walked into the bandmaster's office. It was Frank Eamon.
Wow.
And he's sitting there with that same grin on his face. And he said, "How's the bass drum triplets going?"
Oh, no kidding. He remembered.
I said, "They're a lot better than they were the last time I saw you." Oh, my God.
So didn't Kenny wind up in Nashville then after he retired?
He did. He did.
Was he there before you, or did you get there first?
Oh, no, he was still in the Navy.
Was he? Yeah.
After I'd been in Nashville for 2 or 3 months, Associated Press did this big article on me. I don't know. I guess I was sort of, that sounds kind of dumb, but I was sort of a flash. I started to work really quick and got busy really quick, but I had a lot of help. This Associated Press article went all over the world, and it was also in the Navy Times. Is that right, Navy Times?
Yeah.
It was in the Navy Times. Well, Malone was coming through Nashville. He'd been on vacation, and he called me from the Holiday Inn downtown Nashville, and he said, "Man," he said, "I'm passing through town, and I sure would like to go to a session or two. I read this article about you in the Navy Times, and he said, I'd like to go with you and see a few sessions." And so I did. I picked him up and I took him to a couple of sessions the first day and a couple the next day. And he'd been in, it was time for him to, I guess, ship over for the last time. He'd been in like 14 and a half years at that point. And he went back and got out.
He didn't retire?
Oh, no.
Oh,
He got out
I thought he
in
did.
14 and a half years.
Wow.
And came to Nashville, and I got him started in doing demos for Cedarwood Publishing Company. We worked every week for them, and a couple other accounts I got him started in. And he stuck it out for that first year. Almost didn't get enough work to make him want to stay. He almost went back in at the end of that first year. Almost went back in, and got a good master account or something there at the end of that year, and stayed. So it's sort of my fault that he's there. He did really well.
He was at the clinic in Louisville.
The clinic?
Yeah.
Reunion.
Not the clinic, the reunion, yeah.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It still looked exactly the same.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He really hadn't aged at all, like some of us.
He's a little more eccentric now than he used to be.
Yeah.
Well, not me.
I didn't-
How about you?
As soon as I figure out what eccentric is,
Start working on it.
yeah, I'll try to get some.
Oh my God.
You notice that all those years down in the South, Ron has finally learned how to pronounce hill.
Finally. About time.
He had lots of help.
Hey, I've had plenty of help. You hear me say that a while ago? I had lots of help. I did.
Yeah, Ron being from the north originally, that's surprising.
North Carolina.
Oh, that's right, North Carolina.
That's right.
So
grew up in the north.
back to Pensacola. What did you do while you were in the band there? What was memorable about that, gig wise, or you had a group, didn't you?
I had a group, and you ought to know about that.
Oh, that's right, I was in it.
That's right, you were.
Now I remember.
Yeah, I had a group, and somehow, I don't know how this happened, but somehow, every time the band had to fly out and go someplace and do something, they'd leave us back because we had gigs. We were working so much. We had gigs at night, so
Frank
we wouldn't have to go do those gigs.
That'd be Fritz.
That'd be Fritz Eamon. You know,
Oh yeah, that'd be Fritz.
Eamon was at one of the.
He was at the last
He
one,
was
yeah.
there this time
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
in Memphis.
We're trying to get a Pensacola reunion together.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, a reunion
He
within
just
a
called
reunion.
me about 2 weeks ago.
Is that right?
And he gave his computer to a grandchild. I believe that's right. He gave his computer to a grandchild, and so he's sort of out of touch with everybody.
Yeah.
So he called me to tell me he was missing me and wondered if I was going to go to Memphis before he made plans to go to that reunion. And I told him I would go. I will go. And Mike will go.
Yeah.
How about you?
That saxophone
Oh, yeah.
player.
That saxophone
Yeah, that
player.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'll be there.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
Great. I don't know if anybody there would remember who the hell I was.
Oh yeah, there will. You'd be surprised, man. Well, Phil Field will be there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll,
There'll be people that you have forgotten about that'll be there.
Yeah,
you know.
you see people.
what about Danny Richardson?
Oh, he's always there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
maybe.
quite the guy.
There's a great story about Danny Richardson. Well, I don't know if it's great or not, but it was great to me. So I'd been at the basic course for a week or two, and he came up to me and he said, "Man," he said, "I've got this group we play on the weekends." He said, "You want to play, make a little money?" And I went, "Oh yeah, I want to." I said, "But I've got a problem." I said, "They told me when I checked in last week that once a month I'd have to spend a weekend on base and stand watches, or whatever."
Yeah, duty.
And stand duty, yeah. And he said, "Can you sing?" I went, "Well, sort of." He said, "You Catholic or Protestant?" I went, "Protestant." He said, "Okay, be at choir practice Thursday night." And he said, "If you sing in the choir, you won't have to stand any duty." I went, "Well, that's for me." So I showed up on Thursday night to
Being a
choir
very
practice.
religious guy, by the way.
I showed up.
Being a very religious guy.
Of course, yeah.
He did have some trouble remembering what religion he was.
I said, "I'm Protestant. So I showed up Thursday night to choir practice, and whoever was in charge of the choir practice said, "Guys, we don't have enough people, so we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to have a choir anymore." And I went, God, buddy, there goes my deal. I don't have an out anymore. So I told Danny the next day. I said, "They're not going to have choir anymore." I said, "I guess I won't be able to play it." He said, "Forget it." He said, "You're not going to have to do it anyhow." So I just went to practice one time, and that was enough.
Yeah.
So I never had to stand
Danny
any
needed a
duty.
piano player.
So I didn't have to stand any duty.
Yeah, that was amazing at the School of Music. If they needed you for a pay gig, all those rules changed.
Immediately.
As well they should.
Yeah, really.
And so then I'd been there about 5 months or something, and Danny got the band, and could have been 6th Fleet Band.
Good man.
Yeah, he had 6th and 7th Fleet bands. He had
Okay.
both of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he tried to get me out of school, get me an early out, so I could go with him. But they said, 5 months is not enough.
Yeah.
So I had to stay.
Because you were still working on your bass drum chops, right?
Oh yeah, I was still working on the left-hand triplet. I had to write them down. So I never would have known Phil Field if they hadn't kept me there. Because when I finished, they sent me to San Diego. Still might have been out a little early. Sent me to San Diego to replace Kellerhouse, Warren Kellerhouse, because that band, Phil's band, had already made their first cruise, and then Kellerhouse was getting out. And so they sent me to replace him, and I just made the second cruise.
Kellerhouse went back to the academy or something.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he was there when I got there.
Yeah.
He was in Nashville for a while
he
too,
came
right?
to Nashville too,
Yeah.
after he really
After
got
he
out.
retired, yeah.
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 I may be mistaken, but after he moved to Nashville, I think he went on the road with Brenda Lee.
He did.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. I remember that. He sure did. Now back to Pensacola again.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Let's talk about that little group you had.
Okay.
What did we used to do? What song did you used to sing?
Who used to sing?
You.
Oh, for nothing.
Come on, sing a little bit for us. Come on, give us a little bit of Young Blood. Come on, Young Blood.
Young Blood.
Come on.
I saw her standing on the corner, a yellow ribbon in her.
Oh, you haven't lost a bit, have you? That's just what it sounded like then.
Did we? No, we didn't do. We didn't do Long Talk Texan, did we?
I don't think so.
don't
Sonny
think we
Preston used to sing that. Long Tall Texan. Yeah.
Well, I got to Nashville, and one of the first sessions I worked with, bass player Henry Shalecki wrote that song.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a small world.
It is indeed. I also, who sang Phoenix? Oh, it was instrumental by the time I
Phoenix.
got to
Oh, yeah, we always play that. That was our best tune. Yeah. Who was the saxophone player on that?
Oh, let me think. Danny Cavallo. No.
Danny Cavallo, yeah.
No, it was Cecil B. DeMikey.
Now, where did the group work?
Pardon me?
Where did we work? Some of the places we worked. Mustin
Beach. We
Eglin Officers. Oak Club. The Beach Club.
The beach at Eglin Air Force Base.
Yeah.
The beach club there. Made me think of Daryl Powell.
Oh, Daryl. Okay, tell the Daryl story.
Well, wait. Did you know Daryl Powers?
Never knew
bass
Daryl.
player.
No. He's a pretty good bass player too.
Yep.
He
So
was.
we had this group. We're down there at the officers club. We're setting up
That's about
the beach
about
club at Eglin Air Force Base.
How far from Pensacola? Maybe 50 miles?
Yeah, an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It wasn't an hour in that 425 horse 427 Super Sport.
But in
Like
Daryl's
it's flying low.
Oh, man.
Daryl's international scout, it was 2 hours, right?
Right, yeah. Breaker. Anyhow, we get down there and we're setting up, and Daryl opens his case and goes, "Oops. What'd he say, Mike?"
So I forgot to put my bass in here. He didn't have his bass.
Didn't have his bass.
Got empty case.
He said, "What am I gonna do?" I said, "You're gonna get your ass back to the house and get it." And he went all the way back to Pensacola, and I said,
200 miles.
It was only an hour away.
Yeah, that was about 100 miles round trip.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, so he left, got his bass, he came back. We're in the last song.
He played the last tune.
He runs up there, plugs it in, he's going thump, 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 tune, 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 and he gets about the last chorus in, and so puts it back in the case, and he's standing around waiting for a paycheck.
I said, you don't really think I'm going to pay you, do you, Daryl?
I said, "It's not going to work out tonight, Daryl. I'm sorry." Thump, thump, thump.
So another Daryl story. We're in the New Orleans Mardi Gras parade. Daryl's playing sousaphone.
Yeah.
And of course, the entire parade route, people were bringing drinks out to the band. I don't know if you ever marched in that parade. By the end of the parade, we're all snockered.
Oh, yeah.
And Daryl was doing spin moves with his sousaphone. So every corner, he's doing a spin move. So we got to just about the end of the parade, one last turn. Daryl does his spin move, and down he went. Crash! He's laying down there. He's like, "Help!" We just left him there. We left him laying in the street.
Oh my God!
Oh, poor Daryl.
You know that I figured out a way to carry my whiskey drink with me when we're marching. Do you remember Bill Kendig? He's a drummer. Do you remember Kendig?
Yeah.
Well, he was going to teach me how to play tenor drum, so I could march with something. So he takes me out. This is back to Pensacola, but he takes me out and he's showing me how to do tenor drum things. And I went, "Man, dig this!" And I'd show him a new new rhythm thing. He'd go, "God damn!" He said, "That's great. Show it to me again." I'd show it to him. So we put that one in. We used that one. I showed him about a dozen of them.
Yeah.
It was totally different from anything that anybody did play before. And, so we get to New Orleans on that first trip, and I figured out how to carry my bottle of whiskey with a neoprene tube up inside my shirt, right up in here, so we could do that. Well, you know, we'd march a while, and then we'd stop. Traffic or the parade would back up, so we'd be stopped for a minute, and I'm like this, and I'm going. And I looked up, and there's Frank Eman looking at me right in the eye with that grin on his face, and I'm going, oh. He said, "What you got there, Mr. Oates?" I said, what do you mean? He made this tube's hanging down out of my
shirt.
Yeah, out of my shirt. He just grinned and kept on going.
Yeah, that was a
My kind of guy.
oh yeah, that was a relaxed band for sure.
Oh,
It
wonderful.
really was.
It was wonderful and it sounded great.
I don't know, was Gary Adams there when you were there? Trumpet player?
I don't remember.
He must have come in after you left. But that band, when I was in it, well, I actually ran the big band. We used to go to lunch every day at a place called the Bowie. Remember the Bowie?
I do.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
lunch. Lunch consisted of a quart of wine for each person, you know. They'd come back for an afternoon rehearsal, and I mean, I don't know why we even bothered to come back, you know.
A lot of times we didn't even have to. We didn't have afternoon.
Yeah.
We'd go to lunch and didn't have to go back.
Yeah, usually.
Especially, well, of course, Pensacola's air cadets were there. All the pilot trainees were there.
Yeah.
So once a month they had a big inspection in the hangar out at the base. Well, we had to go out and play marches. You remember that? We'd have to be there.
Oh, yeah.
At 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So we had to stand there and play marches while they got inspected, not us. They got inspected. Well, if we had to do that on Saturday morning, we didn't go to work on Monday because it messed up our weekend. And
I hate it when that happens.
Oh no, messing up my weekend.
we were hoping we could do that every Saturday. You
Yeah.
know, but sometimes we didn't even have afternoons. It was pretty nice.
Yeah, it was.
Pretty nice.
Dave Perry, the trumpet player stationed in Hawaii, and I wasn't there, but the story has it that he was late for evening colors, and he was in the shore patrol truck, and as you know, getting there late, he looked out and they were bringing the flag down, and he took his trumpet and played out the window, but he played the wrong tune. He played the theme from 20 Mule Team Borat. He said that was the only thing on his, that was on his mind. So anyway, he got busted for that.
Good God.
Really?
Busted.
The first gig I played in Pensacola, Lloyd Holtman had the big band.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we got to the O Club, and Glenn Blanchett was playing lead. I don't remember who else was in the band, but during the first set, Glenn got out of his chair and went and mixed a drink for the sax section. That was a fifth of whiskey in an ice bucket, and then passed it down the line.
Good grief.
Yeah. And then during the break, Glenn and the boys had a contest. It was called the Who Can Throw a Folding Chair the farthest onto the roof of the O Club contest. Yeah, they're heaving chairs up on top of the O Club. And I told Lloyd, I was a first class then, I was a career. I said, Lloyd, you really think this is a good thing, man? You think we ought to be doing this? And he says, oh, well, they're having fun, I said, yeah, well, to tell you the truth, when I took over the band, things did calm down a bit. I mean, I thought that was just a bit much,
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was a fun band. It definitely was, man. Ron, tell me about some of your experiences when you were aboard ship, man. Did you ever have? Did you have one of those little pianos you had to carry around? One of those gray pianos that spin?
No, we didn't have a piano.
You didn't have one of those?
No.
No
we didn't
piano
have
at
a
all.
piano. We had no piano.
None. What the hell did you do?
Well, there was a B3 up in the chain locker up in the forecastle.
Oh, for heaven's sake!
And
Yeah.
that's where they had. I mean, that's not funny part, but that's where they had the memorial services for the pilots that didn't come back.
Oh my. Yeah.
Every week or two, or every day or two, it seemed like.
Good Lord.
But I was up there having to play those memorial services on the B3. Anyhow, but the only other place that had a keyboard was the chapel. It had this little teeny organ. So I would go up there at night. I had a key to the chapel, so I could go up there late at night and just be there by myself and play music without going. So I'd go crazy all the time with nothing to play. Otherwise, there were no keyboards. Oh, it's back. Okay, I'm going to start that part over.
Okay.
So Tex can hear it. So it's the Admiral's birthday. There's no piano on the ship. There's nothing except for one accordion that they found. Some officer had an accordion. And like I said, well, I bet he was popular.
Obviously.
So he came to me and he said, here, he said, you're going to need this. And I went, geez. Well, I didn't know what to do with it. I've never seen one up close. I said, well, okay, what do you do? And he said, you put your arms through here. So I've got it on like this. He said, okay, now you do like this. And you play, and I went, wait a minute, I can't see the keyboard. How am I supposed to play this if I can't see it? And he said, on the left side, all these buttons. In the middle, there's an indented one that's a C chord. And he said, you just feel around. You'll find a D and an F and a G. You just feel around till you find it.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to practice on that thing for a long time, right? So here I go. It's time to go up to the Admiral's stateroom area. I don't know what they called it, but suite or something. But anyhow, you know how it is on a carrier. All these bulkheads that you have to go through and step over. It's like angle irons.
Yeah.
And then you climb all these ladders. By the time I got up there, I'd scraped my shin so many times, my jeans were sticking to my legs from the blood. So I finally get up there to the damn, to where I had to go, and the Marines were standing out there. And I said, I'm supposed to play in there. And so they knocked on the door and went in, and they came back out, and they got me, took me inside, and here's this whole, like a conference table with the captain, the exec, the admiral, and all the,
Biggies.
yeah, all of them are up there. And so I'm just standing there with this dumbass accordion wrapped around me, and the exec turns around and he goes, okay. And I went, gulp. I said, wank. He went, whoa, stop. He said, what the hell was that? And I went, he's a jolly good fellow.
What they have on ship when you were there?
Nothing.
Bass drum.
Oh, you didn't have a keyboard at all? No?
No.
So you went on the beach to play
Yeah. When we found a place. Every now and then, I'll bet twice we had a gig. There's pictures of Dan Jacobs and Bill Stanifer, I think. Do you remember anyone named Stanifer? We had about 17 people.
Oh, did you?
But you didn't have a big band.
Well, what, 17 people? How big is that?
Well, I mean, did you all play at the same time?
No.
Dance band? You know?
I don't remember ever doing that.
No kidding. See that French horn up there on the wall?
Oh, yes.
Ron can play that. Did you know Ron's a French horn player?
Ah,
He is, for real.
maybe he is one of the beat and blow boys.
After all.
Bass drum and French horn.
Ever since the music started